What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to CHGO Bulls pregame, coming to you live from our studios here in the West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. Joined by Big Dave, Bow, BAWL Sports, Will the Goat Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb, our panel producer, Joey Spathis on the controls. He's at Joey Spathis. For CHGO_Bulls. Bulls, Hawks on deck tonight. Second to last game before the All-Star break, and it could not have more massive implications, gentlemen. Bulls have a one-game lead on Atlanta for ninth in that play-in positioning.
Yes.
And if the Bulls win tonight, they would guarantee themselves a tiebreaker should they finish with the same record as the Atlanta Hawks after all 82 games have been played.
It's pretty big.
Stakes couldn't be higher.
Pretty big.
I'm just kidding. I don't give a crap. Dave, how you doing? Will, everybody enjoy the Super Bowl?
Yes, I did. Well, second half. I slept through the first half. But second half, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see all the good stuff because the first half, I mean, like there was some pretty impressive defensive stands from both teams, but
Yeah.
first quarter for sure was a snooze fest.
No, I went to sleep. I slept through Usher. I slept through everything. I woke up in the third quarter. But I rewound it because I was recording
such a flex.
I recorded it on DVR. So
The Super Bowl's not good enough for you, so you had to sleep through it.
I'm a busy man. I got a lot of stuff to do.
Such a flex.
When my body feels I'm sitting down doing nothing, it's like, oh, we sleeping because I'm always up doing something. So it took opportunity, and the play on the field did not help that either. So it just, put me to sleep. I woke up in the third, and my brother was like, yeah, you didn't really miss nothing. Like, it was all right. So third quarter and fourth quarter were
I mean,
quarter
awesome second half, awesome OT, very entertaining game.
Yeah. Hey, Julia.
Shout out everybody in the comments. Julia said, "Hey guys, I'm in competitive traffic at home right now." It's the magic word. It's going to be the word of February for Bulls Nation.
Dreads. You see it.
Dreads. Yes.
You see it.
The shorts are out.
better believe it.
Another beautiful day in Chicago.
I
feel like we're
no
cheating
desire.
somehow.
I went for a run outside. It was a mistake.
Okay.
It was cold.
Let's pump the brake. Oh, I went for a run.
It was just a beautiful day.
Ah, no, good for
I
you.
enjoyed myself.
Really? He gets mad. He gets mad at somebody staying in shape.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was
The
a
anger for every
long
damn
run
thing.
or
Like-
that I ran the whole time. There was a lot of walking,
Who
but
gets angry at that?
beautiful.
My lazy
He's
ass.
got a
That's
problem.
who.
Oh, my God.
606.
Fish pointing out, real must-win game. Always against the Hawks, too. What the hell?
That's a good point.
They got to get this one. We will get to tonight's Bulls-Hawks action, but first, interesting little tidbit of news regarding the Bulls front office, and not AK, who we heard from last Thursday at the trade deadline, but Bulls GM Marc Eversley. Real quick, though, even before that, just briefly, want to touch on the most breaking, shocking news in the world of Bulls basketball. Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan called it quits, you guys.
Called it.
They split. I thought they were picking out an engagement ring.
That shit wasn't happening.
They split.
Once we realized that Scottie Pippen's stepson
Yeah.
could be Michael Jordan's grandson,
It's just
I think everybody just
real-
decided it was better to part ways.
real
Is that
weird.
why? Okay. All right. Yeah.
Is that right? Did I say that right?
I think so.
Who cares?
I've never been
Actually, I
good
do
at
care.
No, it's Scottie
Relative
Pippen's.
math.
No. It was Scottie Pippen's son could be step siblings with Michael Jordan's grandson
right. That's what it is.
or grandchild.
Real weird.
And Mike's not claiming that.
Just
Not
really,
gonna do it.
really heartbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure
It was
Larsa
coming.
will bounce back at All-Star Weekend right around the corner.
Damn. Shots. Just, ooh,
All-Star Weekend, man.
this dude here.
It's a party.
It ain't even 5 minutes in. Shit. Man.
So, condolences to the former couple. All right, y'all. Interesting little bit of news. The Hornets are making some changes with their front office after they had a transition in their ownership. MJ sold his majority stake in Charlotte a few months back. Mitch Kupchak is moving into an advisory role with Charlotte. So he's leaving as basically their head of basketball ops to an advisory role. He's pulling himself a John Paxson. Stepping down to become an organizational advisor, clearing the way for a franchise to begin an immediate search for a new head of basketball ops. That was from Woj. And then an interesting tidbit from John Hollinger in his column for The Athletic. League sources have mentioned Philadelphia 76ers general manager Elton Brand, shout out Bulls legends.
Shout out.
Chicago Bulls general manager Marc Eversley,
Shout
and
out.
New Pelicans GM Trajan Langdon as the three leading candidates. Yeah, there's a deep name poll of NBA years past. Trajan
He's
Langdon.
got a very
Duke
good
University.
As
Very
the
good
three
reputation.
leading candidates for the top position with the Hornets. Woj also threw in a couple other names. Brooklyn Nets assistant GM Jeff Peterson, Cavs GM Mike Ganzi, and he also mentioned Brand as well. So, gentlemen, we also saw our pal Joe Kelly of the Sun-Times mention that Eversley has been linked to this job. Casey Johnson made note of the fact that Eversley, when he was with Philly, interviewed for the job that Mitch Kupchak eventually took with Charlotte back in 2018.
He was also on the Blazers' radar when they moved on from Neil O'Shea, and obviously...
Correct. And that was 2021, so after he had been with the Bulls for a year.
Right. Yep.
What do we think about this? Obviously, nothing official yet. As of right now, Mark is the GM of the Chicago Bulls, but I wouldn't be shocked if they at least grant him the permission to go do an interview if the Hornets do in fact call him for an interview. What do you think? I mean, I know Bulls fans are not exactly super high on this current front office tandem of AK and Eversley, but it looks like the team might be trying to poach their way to getting Eversley for their head of basketball ops position, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Marc Eversley had been on their radar before when the Bulls were trying to hire Marc Eversley, and then those talks with him early on. Charlotte was definitely in the running for trying to grab him, so it makes sense that they would try to come back and try to pick him up like that. I think they be doing their due diligence to go get a guy that they think they want. So, yeah, you try to interview him and see if he fits what you're trying to do with your organization. So, I don't see a problem with it. We'll see how the Bulls front office feels if they grant that, if they allow that, and what they feel about Marc Eversley, and also what Marc Eversley wants to do. Mm-hmm. So, maybe he wants to, take this kind of role on and, elevate and grow himself, because he continues to do that, going from Toronto, from the Nike to Toronto to GM with the Bulls, who could be head of basketball ops in Charlotte.
Yeah, my wisecrack on this is that a team like the Hornets, they really need to make a lot of moves to kind of change their fortunes, and I don't know why they would try to hire a guy who doesn't make any moves. So that's my wisecrack on it. But thanks.
I was on it.
But yeah, we were actually kind of talking about this in the Die Hard only Discord lounge earlier.
Hey.
With some of our fellow diehards in there talking about that.
Fellow kids.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to me that he's kind of among the short list of people that's kind of en route to the big job. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this would be like the equivalent of AK's job, but for the Hornets. So definitely would be a good promotion for him. And some tough competition, but it makes sense to me that he wants to explore that opportunity to kind of stretch his legs as a lead decision maker. It's really interesting, I think, if you think about it from the perspective of like the Bulls front office and how they do work, like what is sort of the division of labor? How do they work amongst each other? What are sort of their different tasks? And KC kind of alluded to this in the press conference with AK after the trade deadline, that he asked whether AK felt that there was like not necessarily division of opinion, but like if there was any difference of opinion as far as whether the Bulls should stand pat or make some moves. And so it'd be interesting to know, maybe Mark was the guy, and I'm not reporting this, I'm just totally guessing here,
right.
But like maybe Mark was the guy that wanted to make some changes, and AK obviously had the final say. So maybe that would be an opportunity for him to really put his stamp onto a new team. Also,
this change of scenery as well. We know how the media can be here in Chicago, and Marc Eversley has shown us that he's not a guy that wants to talk all the time. He enjoys being behind the scenes. Going down to Charlotte could afford him that luxury right there, so he wouldn't have to have all tons of media bogged down on him like they do here in Chicago. So I think that might factor into it too.
Andrew McKay in the comments said, AK, but no Marc Eversley. How will we ever handle the cap gymnastics? Which is a shout out to AK using that phrase himself in his press conference on Thursday. Well, don't worry about it because AK has plenty of time to figure that out, according to AK. That's a tomorrow AK problem. So we'll deal with those cap gymnastics later when the Bulls are up shit creek as far as their cap goes. Fish saying, doesn't Mark want to stick around for 3 more years too? Julia saying he needs to go. He's not competitive enough. Oh, my goodness. Christian Jones saying, take Acme, we'll get Bob Myers. Didn't Bob Myers take a job with the Washington Commanders a couple weeks ago?
He did. Magic Johnson hired him over there.
I think he was just consulting on their job search. I'm not sure that he's actually working for them.
So it's not a position?
I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I'm not positive. But that was my interpretation of it.
So yeah, we'll be interesting to see if we get any further updates on this as Charlotte moves through their search, their job hiring, their interviews to see if Marc Eversley is one of those names that's going to Charlotte to interview for that position. But yeah, in the meantime, I think Bulls fans, and I saw you chatting with some of our diehards in Discord about it, Will, are just kind of trying to figure out, what is AK's role, what is Mark's role. Mark is the GM, AK is the VP of Ops, so Mark reports to AK, but I was wondering the same thing that you had just touched on, which is we did hear from a couple different areas that a couple different outlets that there was some at least discussion, debate, difference of opinion as far as the direction the Bulls should go as they approach that trade deadline this past Thursday and ultimately decided not to make any moves. And as you pointed out, that is AK's call. So, maybe if he and Eversley aren't necessarily seeing eye to eye, and again, this is just speculation, maybe Mark would be interested in, and for Marc Eversley, it would be a promotion. He would basically be taking the AK job in Charlotte. So he would be moving up a rung as far as his power running basketball over there. All right, so just wanted to touch on that, and then we will come back after this quick ad break and talk about tonight's Bulls-Hawks game. We got injury updates for both teams. We'll take a look at what the Hawks have been up to recently with this game that we mentioned. Big implications seating-wise if you are someone who's caring and looking closely at the play-in standings. Joey out of the corner of my eye, so I'm pointing at Dave, who's pointing at himself. For a second, I thought Joey was also pointing at himself.
No, he was.
And I was going to have a word with Joe.
All here.
While we're taking this break to shout out our friends and sponsors, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. And, of course, if you aren't already, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. On our climb to 50K. 48,000 and change right now.
Oh, right there.
Can't wait till we hit that 50 marker.
I'm excited about that.
Pregame tonight brought to you all by Circa Sportsbook, who offer that tight moneyline split and the low hold model. Always striving to have those starting point odds at -110 for game spreads, over-unders, player props. Unlike a lot of other sports books that usually, or at least often, push those to 115 or 120 instead of 110. For no gosh darn good reason at all. Circa also keeps as little money as possible on people making large market bets on their platform. For example, NBA futures. If you feel like you have a good idea of who's going to go the distance in the NBA playoffs this year, the best place to do that, to get the best value, the best odds on those types of bets, is at Circa. They encourage bettors to download and explore, of course, their Circa Sports Illinois app, because they know you'll love it, but also download and try out any other sports betting app that's out there. They know that there are plenty of options when it comes to sports bettors these days. They're confident that more often than not, you will find a better user experience, better odds, better values, and they know you will find the best customer service compared to any other sports books out there. Real people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other sports bettors, many of whom use the dreaded chatbots. AI is going to ruin us all. Download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. If you or someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Text GAMB to 833-234 or visit areyoureallywinning.com.
Joey, does AI concern you?
No.
Okay. All right. Just check it with the young people.
Is that because it
he's
created
Gen Z?
I got to check
I
with
think
the
they're
young
less
folks.
afraid of it.
Yeah,
First thing
know.
I did when I logged on to Chat GPT for the first time was ask if it was plotting something. And it said, no, I can't do that prior to what you might think. I'm not. It's not how this works.
Didn't AI
don't trust
create
that
the thumb gremlins image?
No.
That was
No,
I
Joey
created
made that
that.
himself.
He did.
And I'm afraid of Joey, not AI.
Only
No, you're
our
freaking
pal C Red Fred just cheats and uses AI to generate all of his dumb Bulls fan images that he's posting on Twitter these days.
Aw. Hey, Matt, what time is it?
Love you, Fred. Game time, who?
You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events nearest you with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying those tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It is not the place. No. Shout out, Sarah. It is the place to find last-minute seats. Hey, Sarah. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsor deals on tickets for football, hockey, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and much, much more. Watch Basketball. Awesome movie, by the way.
Great movie.
With zone deals, you pick the section. Game Time does the selecting with an average savings of, Matt Peck, drum roll, please, 18%. Woo! That's the savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price possible. So take the guesswork out of buying those tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO, get yourself $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute ticket, lowest price guaranteed, because we're going to go. Gottlieb. What time is it?
Game time. Who?
Also would like to say very quickly, we are 23 followers away from 8,000 on the CHGO Bulls Twitter page. So
Give that a follow.
23 followers away from 8,000, guys.
23, great number.
That's a pretty awesome number.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Joey 2K.
Oh, no.
Joey 1.2K.
Yeah, Joey 1.2K, yes.
Hey. Boom, boom.
Wow.
You don't want to know what else about that?
The cool news that dropped today is that y'all were asking about it in the comments, so we heard you, and we ran it up the chain of command, who run the wonderful people who do a great job running merch for us based over in our Denver headquarters.
Shout out.
You can now get the SubZero design in a hoodie.
Yes.
In addition to still being able to get it in the t-shirt, it is available in a red hoodie, that very same design in the CHGO merch locker right now. I don't know, Joe, if you have the link handy that you can throw in the comments. I tweeted a link to it from our CHGO_Bulls Twitter account earlier this afternoon.
It's right in the corner there on the screen. CHGOlocker.com.
There you go. Get yourself a SubZero hoodie. Okay, moving on to tonight's game. Bulls injury report. Coby White popped up on it again with the left ankle that's been giving him some problem. But he is active and ready to go. Officially in the starting lineup.
All right.
Caruso dealing with a left toe that's been bothering him. Billy mentioned, I think I saw via a KC tweet pregame that it got stepped on in their game on Saturday. So Caruso was listed as questionable game time decision. The Bulls ruled Caruso out. No Caruso tonight. In his place in the starting lineup, rather than Billy going with the Twin Towers and Drummond alongside Vooch, you got Io, Coby, DeMar, Torrey Craig getting a start, and then Vooch at the 5. Those are your Bulls starters tonight. Real quick, what do we think about with the absence of Caruso going with Torrey Craig in that starting lineup?
I think it's all right. I want to know if he's on a minutes restriction, though.
His minutes restriction
He mentioned
is
that it's been lifted.
It's lifted. Well, then come on with it. Like, I'm all for it.
Yeah, at this point, it's
I
like,
miss him so much, and I really missed him last game.
Who else do you even really go for at this point? Patrick's been out. Dalen could be. Phillips could be. But Torrey's kind of the veteran in the room, and he's been the most productive of that group.
Yeah, and again, just to be clear, you do want him healthy. You're not just saying throw him out there.
Totally.
Starting, he has to be healthy. So that's a good sign that he's healthy and he can get out there and be in the starting lineup without a minutes restriction.
For the Hawks, meanwhile, they've been dealing with a couple of injuries, but also something must be going through their locker room because they've got a lot of people out with illnesses. Wesley Matthews out with illness. AJ Griffin, son of Adrian Griffin, out with illness. He's the one who had that backbreaker game winner against the Bulls last season.
Yes.
Patty Mills, who's now in Atlanta, which I had forgotten, out with illness. None of them have been playing like major minutes, so it's not as critical as maybe some of the key guys for Atlanta. Clint Capella does also remain out, though, however, with that left adductor strain. So a hit to Atlanta's size in that department. Bruno Fernando was listed game time decision, also battling whatever illness is taking over the Hawks locker room, but he has been given the green light. So your starting five for the Hawks tonight is Trae Young, Dejounte Murray in that backcourt, Saddiq Bey, Johnson, and Okongwu. So still a formidable starting five for these Atlanta Hawks. Mentioning that backcourt of Trae Young and Dejounte, obviously we should touch on that briefly. Dejounte Murray, maybe the hottest name leading up to the trade deadline, especially once the Zach LaVine surgery end-of-season news hit. And then we were sitting here on set doing our show in the final minutes leading up to that 2 p.m. Central trade deadline last Thursday, and it was reported that they weren't going to trade Dejounte Murray. They're keeping that backcourt together at least through the rest of this season. And the offense has really not been a problem for Atlanta this season.
Never is.
They can score, which, no Caruso tonight. Yikes. But as good as they've been offensively, they have been equivalently bad on the defensive end. On the season, their 119 offensive rating is the seventh best in the NBA. Their 120.9 defensive rating, 28th in the NBA. And middle of the not quite mediocre or competitive enough, negative 1.9 net rating total, 22nd in the NBA, right around where the Bulls are, which, not surprisingly, these two teams are one game away in the Eastern Conference standings. What do you make of the almost traded Dejounte, didn't trade Dejounte? What the heck are the Hawks doing with this core of players, Dave?
It's weird. Dejounte Murray is one of those players. Well, I shouldn't say he's one of those players. It was one of those things that when his name got mentioned for the Lakers, of course, everybody said, oh, he's going to the Lakers. Because that's kind of the MO every year for the Lakers. If people say, hey, they're going to the Lakers, I'm going to the Lakers, and then everybody's like, they're going to the Lakers. And NBA Today on ESPN is going to the Lakers.
And give the Lakers a great deal because they're the Lakers.
Give them a deal. They're the Lakers. Trade them for, some scraps
Trade
and
your
get them in
good
there.
players for their scraps.
It's every year.
But it's still an overpay to Laker fans.
That's right. And the Lakers stink right now. So they're going with this. I guess they have plans that they want to do in the offseason about what they want to do with this lineup because, honestly, I don't see them staying together for a very long time. So I guess they're like, just play it out. We kind of know who we are and where we're going. So it really doesn't matter about this season, whether they make a play-in run, whether they don't or not. I think they're kind of cool with, what this season kind of is. And I'm also worried about this next season. So that's one of my teams I'll definitely be watching in the offseason about making these moves because I think they're going to do something. And they're just comfortable with what they have right now. It's still a super formidable backcourt, as you just mentioned, for all the points that they can score. But Dejounte Murray can also play some defense, too, and hit some game-winning shots. We saw him do that in back-to-back games. Yes, like he was awesome doing that. So they're formidable. Like that's what they are. They can definitely score with the best. They can beat any team because they can score with the best, and they can also lose to every team because they can't play defense and haven't been able to do that since Trae Young got there. Having Clint Capella out is definitely going to be a problem. Like it's going to be an issue. That's one of their defenders right there. Griffin, who was having a great year last year, just hasn't been able to get it together so far this year. Not saying he's having a bad one. It just hasn't been elevated.
But he's playing a lot less than he did last season as a rookie.
Yes, absolutely. So that thing they got to get together and then question. They had a lot of young guys, and a lot of people were really high on them a few years back with all the young talent they had. I was not one of them. But that young talent has not panned out for them. And they got to make some decisions in the offseason about, where they want to go and if they want to stay on the Trae Young train and keep riding with him, or is it going to be Dejounte Murray? So, again, I'm excited to see what they do in the offseason. But as far as tonight, they are beatable.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think whereas the Bulls kind of had to make some decisions, and by not doing anything, they did make decisions as far as what they're going to do with DeMar. The Hawks did not need to make any decisions right now because Dejounte is about to start his extension. That has not even kicked in yet. Trae Young still has 2+1 after this year. I think that the flexibility that they get by now pushing this off to the draft where the Lakers could trade their pick in 2024 and now 2029 and 2031, they put themselves in a better position to really recoup all the assets plus some that they traded for Dejounte Murray. They could also move on from Trae Young and build around Dejounte Murray, bringing in some talent around him. So I think this was probably the right move. I get that there was some kind of like antsiness and frustration around them not making a big move. And they do need to make some trades because they are going to be super expensive for no good reason next year. But they have the flexibility to like make good moves that will set them up for the future by waiting. Whereas I think the Bulls kind of pigeonholed them into more of the same by waiting.
People in the comments are gearing up for a competitive game. Drew is saying it's a competitive lineup right there. 88 keys, 444 saying competitive game incoming. Also, shout out to Corey who said, I just followed CHGO Bulls and Joey's Paths on Twitter. Boom.
Shout out,
That's
Corey.
how you do that. Also, shout out to Maddie Legend who said that they just got their SubZero hoodie ordered. Boom.
That's what legends do.
Follow Maddie Legend. Smart person right there.
Yes, he is.
Smart.
Both of them.
Uh-huh. Also, I see some, including our guy AK and 88 Keys, we have multiple people here who are saying that they work in AI. Engineer.
Please don't come for our
AK,
jobs.
I work exclusively in generative AI. It can be helpful for some. 88 Keys saying AI is fine. I don't trust you. DeBears 1920 saying, of course AI would say that to throw you off the scent of plotting. Exactly. That's how I feel, DeBears. I don't trust it. Robots. Have we seen the Terminator movies?
Matt, you had
Skynet!
You had a robot in your house cleaning your floors.
Yeah, and I hated it.
But it
wasn't my choice.
But you got it.
Shout out to my former roommate and still good friend Connor, who insisted on getting one of those stupid Roombas because we had a giant loft apartment, a lot of floor that collected a lot of dust.
And it helped, right?
No, I hated it. I mean, like, yes, I guess our floors were marginally less dusty because it's
That's
not
what
like
help
any of the
means.
three of us
Yes.
guys were going to actually sweep and or mop all of our floor space.
What do you think we are? We're not going to do this
No.
stuff. So
but
your laziness led to your robot.
I hated it.
Well,
And then he got a mop version of the Roomba.
Do you miss
that
it?
actually like squirted water and then just like had a watery streak everywhere it went.
do you miss it not having a Roomba now?
No.
Okay.
Shout out to my real, not bot, but human Martha, who does a wonderful job cleaning my apartment.
That's a flex, ladies and gents.
Hey, man. At some point, I realized that housekeepers were a thing that existed, and then I didn't have to clean if I didn't want to, and pay someone well to do it for me.
There you go. That's flex right there.
Oh, God, it's the best.
That's right. Look at you.
And a human who I can like look in the eyes and talk to and have pleasant conversations with.
Don't say you pay her through Venmo.
What?
I said don't say you pay her through
I'm
Venmo.
not going to say how I do it. I will say that I pay her the way that she prefers to be paid.
Okay, all right.
And nothing weird about that.
I'm about
Just
to
as far as form of payment, I followed instructions. Shout out Martha. She's the best.
Shout out, Martha.
I've also brought her in and like to my family of friends. Now she is many people's house cleaners.
Oh, nice. So you're getting Martha paid. Now, that's always a good
And
thing.
actually, I got referred to her from Brother Dave.
Okay.
Shout out to bro.
So Martha already know what's up with the Peck family.
Uh-huh,
So when it all goes down and the secrets need to come out, we go on to Martha. Is what we doing right here. Tell us all the secrets, Martha. The book is coming.
Yeah.
Maddie Dearest.
It was actually pretty funny. I just, my brother and, a good buddy of mine came over to watch Super Bowl at my place yesterday, just low key. And my buddy accidentally dropped a bunch of popcorn on my floor. And my brother's like, whatever, don't worry about it. Like, Mac can vacuum that up later, no biggie. And I was like, actually, I don't own a vacuum. He's like, what?
The flexing he's doing
And I was
right
like,
now.
I had one a while ago. It was old and busted and didn't work very well, and it made a lot of noise. It was really loud. And then I was like, I don't need it.
You got Martha. You don't need it. She brings a vacuum.
She is a
Cleans
true
up.
hero.
Shout out to Martha.
AK threw us a super chat as well. Thank you, AK, saying, Will, in reference to the Jordan grandpa family mathematics, you should watch a clip from the movie The Stupids, where Tom Arnold says, I am my own grandpa. I don't think I've seen that one. Have you
I
guys
remember
seen
that movie. I haven't seen. I know about it. I never watched.
If
it,
it's a
though.
comedy involving Tom Arnold, I would definitely get on board.
It's definitely a comedy.
Tom Arnold is a true gem.
It's definitely a comedy, man. Definitely.
I mean, Tom Arnold was a bit of a chameleon in like 90s movies and TV. Obviously a great comedy, but like he was also in True Lies with Schwarzenegger and like played a bit of a comic relief character,
he did.
but
He
like
did.
True Lies, man. Underrated action movie, by the way.
Yeah,
God, I love True Lies.
That was peak time model right there.
Shout out Drew, shout out Dan, Amari, everybody else hanging out in the comments. It is past 6:30 Central Time. That means tip-off is any second now. We will get out of here. Hit the like button if you didn't do it yet. Subscribe to CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Follow CHGO_sports or CHGO_Bulls on Twitter. Follow our guy at Joey Spathis too. Get him to 1.2K. And go get yourself that new SubZero design in the merch locker, tee or hoodie. Take your pick. We'll talk to you for post-game. Will_Gottlieb, Big Dave, Bow, BAWL Sports.
Bulls.
I'm Bulls_Peck. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon.
Shout out Martha.
Hey.
Peace.